Good morning, welcome to today's video. I'm in a car with Lawrence. How are you?
I'm good, mate. The sun is shining.
We're on the way to the Boardman Performance Centre, the wind tunnel, which is like 2 hours drive in this direction. Meeting up with our mates from Aero Coach and doing a bit of aero testing in the wind tunnel. We've got 2 bikes with us, a bunch of bike packing gear, a load of different kit choices, and we're going to be making 2 different videos, one on my channel, one on Lawrence's, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm finally going to find out, mate, how much slower it was riding panniers compared to you guys riding your bike packing gear.
Francis, we're in traffic. Aero Coach, I'm sorry. It's fairly red on my map.
Good.
Sorry we're late.
That's okay. Isn't it?
So welcome to the Boardman Wind Tunnel. I'm here with Jess and Xavier. They're going to be doing the testing for us today. Looks like they're getting my bike ready. We're going to be testing a few different bike packing setups today.
Yeah, that's the goal.
What are we starting with? Just a frame back as a baseline?
Yeah, so I think, what we decided was that this would be kind of a very light bike packing setup, kind of not really staying overnight or anything like that. It's something you might take out training without all the kit on. And then we're going to kind of steadily add bits and bobs to see how much impact it makes from an aero point of view. Now obviously when you're bike packing, you're riding at a slower speed than you would do if you were doing a road race or if you're doing like a time trial and going at really high speed, but aerodynamics still makes an impact. And so what we're going to do today is test you at lower speeds and see how much difference it makes adding all the bits and bobs on. The interesting thing about doing stuff with gravel bikes, and we've done touring setups before, is that the wind angles that you see when you're riding at slower speeds are greater than what you see if you're riding at higher speeds. So what that means is that if you've got a crosswind but you're traveling at 50 km an hour on a TT bike, the crosswind is effectively decreased. Now you can see these numbers here, and this represents the angle of the wind that you're going to see whilst we're testing you. And the cool thing about this tunnel in particular, it's got the function to simulate moving winds if we want to. And when we do testing here, that's what we do. And that basically that enables us to simulate crosswinds much more effectively than just setting you at a single static angle and then testing you there. So whilst you're riding, we're going to be swinging the wind around you, and that gets us better data, and we'll see how much difference it makes.
You've just roped me into doing a training session, really.
Yeah, that's the thing. And because the tyres are not normal racing tyres, it's going to be a little bit harder for you, so all the better.
Brilliant. Mate, I've got hairy legs. Because we were doing bike packing setups, and that's what everyone has, right?
Yeah, right.
So let's just pick a kind of reference point in front of you to make sure you're looking in the same place every time. So you obviously see the crosshairs on the screen in front of you. So the one for TT bikes is usually the one up from the bottom, but you may pick that one right in the middle. That's kind of a good sort of eye level.
Yep.
And just let your eyes follow along that horizontal line, so moving the turntable from left to right.
Yep.
Just hold a nice consistent position, pedaling and turning your legs over nice and consistently. We'll come and tell you to do different things. We want you to change position or change setup.
Try and ride in a position like I would bike packing.
Why people test at high speeds when using wind tunnel is just because the data is a bit better. So if you're really looking for performance and all that kind of thing, testing at high speed gets you better information. Mm-hmm. But in this instance, we're just trying to look to see if we can detect differences. So we don't really want to test you at 50 km an hour because you're just not going to, especially at the high wind angles, it's just not going to be a realistic scenario. So we're testing at 25 km an hour instead, which I think is much more like, if you're going to average 25k over 100k ride with bike packing, so I think that makes more sense. What it means is that the differences that we see between all the various different options are going to be reduced compared to higher speeds. So you save more power, or like you get more watt savings the higher speed you ride, and it's reduced the lower speed you ride. But time savings are increased because you're out there for longer.
Over the course of a 10-hour ride, it could be an hour you're saving by having a seat pack instead of panniers, and or riding with people with different setups. You start noticing a difference after a few hours. So.
Especially if people are doing things like big bike packing, like proper epic events and stuff like that, where it might take you sort of 45 hours to complete the event. If you can save an hour or something over the course of a day and you get an extra hour's sleep, then it's a massive
winning or losing.
Exactly, it's a massive improvement. So it's not just a case of being more aero and that being a better thing, it's because it allows you to sleep more, it might allow you to not need to eat so much as well because the calorie expenditure will be less. So yeah, double bottles on the front now. So this is what you think will be terrible.
Yeah. It's just a wall on the front.
I agree.
This is what happens when you have a small frame.
Well,
it's a struggle finding places to put water.
That's very true.
You've got the seat pack there, you can't really have the triathlete thing going on.
Right.
In the triangle of the frame, you've usually got a frame bag, so you can't fit big bottles in there.
Sometimes people put camelbacks and stuff like that, like hydration packs,
Yeah.
but then if you know, for long distance events, it can put a bit more strain on your back, so that might just not be an option for some people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, yeah, definitely worth a go. Because again, if you run out of water, but you're only saving 2 watts, like what do you want, the water or the watts?
Exactly. So I know some of you are going to be asking, why do you need to be aero for bike packing? Surely it's the thing where you just want to ride nice and slow and steady, but that's not always the case. When we did the ride across Australia, we were only there for a month. I was making videos, so it was in our interest to kind of get to the end of the day fairly quick, you know, still appreciate the scenery and everything, but why not save yourself an hour through the day, which is a long time. Potentially you can be avoiding riding in the dark and things like that just by changing the shape of your bags. Equally, when we did Project USA, these guys were both running inline standard bikepacking setups, whereas I had panniers on, and you're constantly putting in slightly more effort than the person riding next to you, which gets old pretty quickly. When the fan isn't on, it gets really hot really quickly.
I bet it does. Do you want me to blow on you?
Yes.
So it's always quite difficult to visualize if you've been used to wattage savings at higher speeds for racing and you get people quoting you these massive wattage savings for relatively small things. When you're riding at slower speeds, yes, there is an impact, it is measurable, but it always sounds a bit less, which is why it's quite helpful to convert it into time savings if you're, you know, pedaling for much, much longer periods of time. Yeah, the 2 bottles at 25k was a 3 watt penalty compared with nothing on the forks at all. And over a 200k ride, that equates to around a kind of 3.5 minute penalty, which I think is pretty alright.
That's good.
It's alright. Yeah, so unfortunately your non-aero bottles, they are slowing you down slightly, but again, 3.5 minutes or no water. Your baseline aerodynamic drag was actually pretty good on this bike with nothing on it. So it's a pretty aero setup. Like, you've got close-fitting clothing, you've unfortunately got hairy legs, so that's going to slow you down loads. But the rest of it's all pretty good. So your CDA, which is your aerodynamic drag, was decent to start with.
Okay.
But it's only going to go up as we add more and more things. So we're 3 watts down, but you need the water, so that's fine. So we'll call that even. And let's do, what do you want to do now? Do you want to do front frame bag? If you were to put these bottles on a bike that was traveling at 50k an hour, so let's say you're, I don't know, doing a time trial, or even if you're on this bike going downhill really fast, putting the pair of bottles on would be a 20 watt penalty. So it's nearly 10 times the penalty when you travel at higher speeds, 50k, compared to traveling at lower speeds. So, but the difference isn't linear. So 25 kilometers an hour, it's a 3 watt penalty. But at 50k an hour, it's not double that, because it's a different relationship rather than a linear relationship. So it's actually a 20 watt penalty. So don't ever ride at 50k an hour.
That's why you can't keep up on the story. That's why you can't keep up with us downhill.
So we've just done front bag. What does that say?
So when you're measuring aerodynamic drag, the number we quote is called CDA. So the CDA is made up of 2 things: the CD, which is the kind of, let's say, the shape of the object, and then the A, which is the frontal area. Now, putting bottles on the bike is going to increase the A slightly, but we just discussed that your legs are kind of in line with it. So if you think about your legs either side of the down tube, the bottles are kind of be in line with where your legs are. And there are some bikes these days that use the same kind of technology, like the new Hope Lotus bike that GB have got. However, putting a frame bag on the front does increase the A component of CDA. And that's generally not good. So what do you think the difference is?
7 watts.
7 watts. So it's nearly 8.5 watts.
Really?
8.5 watts for having that on.
At 25k's an hour?
At 25k an hour. If we scale that up to like 50k an hour, it would be like hilarious amounts of watts.
Yeah.
But I think, 8.5 watts actually suddenly becomes something where you would start making different decisions based on, if you do have a different option. So maybe if you have probably a slightly bigger frame bag or something, and you can get all the stuff from the front pack into the frame bag, that would definitely be a better option.
Some of the ultra races, they'll just have a full triangle made to the frame specifically, and I think
definitely, because it keeps everything nicely in line, and it means that you don't have stuff out the front. But having things like stuff sacks and stuff here is helpful, and if you're not going for watts and you're not trying to go for like ultimate performance and you want to have stuff handy like cameras and phones and things, then having something on the front is a good idea. But it shows how much the difference it can make even at slow speed.
It's not even full. Yes, it's for the bubble wrap.
That's cool. Alright, fine, that's fine.
We're going to try and fuse the clips onto the dropouts, but because the dropouts are being taken up by other stuff, we're just going to wedge it there. Perfect.
I'm going to guess that's going to add about
2 watts.
Well, because it's behind me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to neaten it up. I'm going to leave it as if it's been packed badly by me in a hotel room in a rush.
What about if we strap 2 pizzas to it, like we did in Vietnam?
And a chicken.
Francis, that got a surprise for you.
Right. So
Am I more aero?
if you streamline a shape, then you're not increasing the A component of CDA. So the frontal area is not changing because it's behind your bum.
Yeah.
But it's making the shape more aerodynamic. So it's improving the CD part of the CDA equation. So a guy back in the day called Oscar Egg did stuff like that. Yeah, and he streamlined himself. Yeah, it's like an old. Hey, he's even got a little.
Yeah, he is. It literally is.
Did our records with big fairings off his back. Obviously, for him it was loads more aero. For you, that was 2.5 watts faster. It is sitting quite low compared with where the saddle is. So I think a little bit higher up, and it might be faster again. But it's the same premise as that. So I'm not surprised. I mean, we did suspect that, but it's so close to you as well. You're basically sitting on the pad.
Yes.
There's no space for the air to kind of like create eddies and turbulence and stuff in between. So I'm not surprised. But yes, 2.5 watts. So we're getting back some of the penalty from the frame bag.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that if you had that in a different location, or if it was like too low, or the pack was slightly different shape, it might not be quick. But where it is at the moment, it is sitting really nicely. We'll get some more data on putting the sidelines on, but so far we're eating away at the penalty.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Good old tail fin. It's even better than we thought.
They need to design one which is really long. It's like that.
We do the predictions thing again.
Last one. What do you reckon? So this is what I was moaning about in America the whole time.
So I'm going to say that's 14 watts slower.
I assume it would be catching, especially crosswinds. It'll be a bit of a difference.
Let's find out.
How much slower do you think they are as a pair? Remember, there are 2 of them.
Okay, 7 more.
7 watts for the win.
Bang on.
That's it. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a lot.
So you're now 15.8 watts slower than the setup with basically nothing.
Yep.
Bearing in mind that some of the things we did were slower, but putting this on was a little bit quicker. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 15.8 watts. Now if we convert that to calories, and it's about 57 calories over an hour. But if we convert it to like time penalties and time savings, then over a 200k ride, you're looking at around, it's quite a lot actually. So 17.5 minutes over 200k. So that's if you're traveling at 25k an hour.
Yep.
So over 8 hours, it's costing you 17.5 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's like 3 puncture stops, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a nice stop for some food by the side of the road.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tailwinds and headwinds come into it a little bit when you're out riding. So there were rides where me and Chris averaged 36, 37 k's an hour.
Yes.
Would that, if you plug that into your calculator there,
yes.
Bearing in mind we had a stonking tailwind, does that still?
Yeah. So it would basically the wattage savings would increase. But the time savings would slightly decrease because you're not out for as long. If you go to 35k an hour, that goes up to 36 watts. 36 watts. I mean, bearing in mind, you needed all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all very well saying, take it all up, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it is a 36 watt penalty by having everything on. So, I mean, our recommendation really is the bottles on the front of the forks, I'd say weren't too bad. Mm-hmm. But I would lose these and both of those on either side and the front frame bag, get a bigger frame triangle bag and then fill this more and then do as much as you can kind of in line with the frame. It seems to be from what we've tested that's the best thing to do and in line with your body as well. So if you extended this vertically and you had more stuff coming higher, it's still going to be taking the airflow off your bag. Because round your back, if you just lean forward, all this airflow around here is kind of like disturbed airflow, so you're going to get kind of turbulence and eddies and things, and filling in that area with this frame bag is a good thing to do.
Faster,
Like I showed you the guy earlier with this silly fairing off the back. So if you were to make this and put more stuff on here, like you're saying you had pizzas and when you're out in America, then pizza
stack it up.
More aero.
Pizza is more aero than nothing at all. That's huge though, because 37 watts. If you're riding next to someone and you're having to do 37 watts more.
36, yeah.
36 watts.
Yeah.
That's another zone.
It's more than 10% of your power.
Yeah.
So, and that's absolutely loads.
Yeah.
And if we turn that into calories as well, that's 130 calories an hour, which is not having a bit of food that you should have had, and you do that over a number of hours and things, then suddenly it really adds up.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, it's certainly interesting for us because we haven't done bikepacking in the tunnel before. We've done some like commuting stuff before, but not proper bikepacking where you probably do want to try and go as far as you can.
Yeah.
Because obviously this will allow you to ride further for the same effort. But yeah, I think that's dead interesting. So what are you going to do differently now that you've seen these numbers?
I don't know if I can completely get rid of my front bag, but Skin Grows back do a smaller front bag, so it's like a pencil case sort of shape. I think your suggestion of a bigger frame bag, because they can, you know, these guys will custom make stuff like that, fill the whole triangle, and then definitely put a bladder inside there. You'll go.
Taking all my time, Francis. God.
Right, that was a workout as well. Can you believe it's a headwind the whole time? What did we find out with your test? Or have they got to come to your channel?
You have to watch my video.
Yeah, okay, I'll put the link down below.
Yeah, as I will with yours. But yeah, no, it was really fascinating actually. The difference between not only the kit selection but also the position. Huge differences. So,
we were all pretty shocked.
I knew it would be a big, but that is night and day. So
we're winning some races this year.
Dude, I'll be disqualified from some races this year.
Thank you so much. See you soon. Round bottles are not aero.
And they've given us a round bottle. So ironic.
Behind the scenes, you're filming behind the scenes of the behind the scenes.
It is funny how people ask for behind the scenes of a vlog, because a vlog by nature is already behind the scenes.
Don't say it.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Vlogception!
How nice is it to be able to see yourself?
Real good, right?
Whilst you're filming.
Way better.
Incredible.
Way better.
My mind is
You're jealous
blown.
of my camera?
I'm jealous of the screen that flippy flips, but I'm not jealous of your microphone or your settings.
It's a big fluff. So I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Some interesting results from the wind tunnel, both myself and Lawrence's tests. Like we said when we were there, obviously bikepacking, you can 100% take it slow and not care about any of the aerodynamics and stuff. It really doesn't matter unless you're racing or you have time constraints and that sort of thing. But some people just want to ride a little bit faster, and I know riding with these guys, I need all the help I can get sometimes. Today was just an interesting little test to see how much difference it really does make at lower speed. A separate video is going to be going out on Lawrence's channel, which is covering the aerodynamic difference between jersey and shorts, skin suit, that puppy paw position that people do.
It's not called a puppy paw.
It's what it's called when you do it.
That's the most ridiculous name
I've ever heard. See you guys soon.